Hey everybody, welcome to Substack Live Edition. I think this is great with Claynferno. I've been seeing a lot of my heroes and fellow Substack creators getting on live, and you know what? I figured I'd try it out. There was the terms and conditions. It said that it wasn't exactly available to everybody, and I've gone live a couple times, once on uh, Instagram and once on TikTok recently. And I just love the Substack platform. And we can talk about that actually, because I'm not here as a commercial for Substack or Substack Live, but as a content creator, as a podcaster, we just got finished doing our weekly podcast or bi-weekly podcast, league podcast, my main show with my pals John and Matt. We did a Hitchcock movie, which will be coming out soon in a couple weeks. We just did Sting, and I'm in a window of time where Stacy is at rehearsal, and I'm here. And I had the mic out and everything, and so I figured I would go and talk on live here on I Think This Is Great with Claynferno. I really appreciate my paid subscribers and my free subscribers. Everything's free for right now. If I get some more paid subscribers who should be getting some bonus content, I owe that to you. But also, I've been writing sort of short stories that are real things that have happened in my life. I have one here on my Substack about my my dental situation. Look at these teeth; they're fake, but real and new and expensive. So, um, anyways, I want to talk about Substack itself, um, pros and cons, because I think there is still some cons. As much as I appreciate the ability to go live on here, this is Substack. There's other platforms, Ghost Medium, others, others that a lot of people that share my sensibilities have migrated, taken their email list and put it over there on those other platforms. And for good reason, I guess you'd probably say Platformer was the biggest one. Um, and Casey Newton had very good ideas about why he wanted to leave Substack. And this is a few months ago, 6 months ago or so, maybe. And, you know, there's Nazis on the platform, basically. And there's Nazis on Twitter X. So people don't go there. So I have a whole post here on Substack about my last Twitter X post, how I was there from the very beginning, and how I liked being there as a community. Met a lot of great people, connected with a lot of comic book people on there, artists, writers, etc. So there's a reason not to be on Substack. And as I say, I'm talking it out, and if anybody has a comment about this, please jump in to the chat and let me know. But I like things that are easy, but I will get off platforms that I think are hard. And what I mean by that is it's easy for me to stay on Substack. It's easy for me to ingratiate myself to the Substack gods, and maybe because I'm going live, they'll promote this in some way in their algorithm. I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, that's what TikTok does. Um, and I'm not very consistent, but I would at least like to have 4 posts a month on Substack. And maybe this is one of them. Maybe I can find some time on a Saturday or Sunday to hop on live once you see that I really do think about where I put my content. So one could argue, not me, but one could argue that I should get off of Substack because of the same reasons that Casey Newton got off Substack. Now, Casey and Platformer can do whatever they want. You can unsubscribe. You don't need to be on here as much as I am. I like Substack. I like Seth Abramson's Proof Substack. It's a good way to support creators, and unfortunately, that's another thing I'll talk about. I'm like sort of in a weird financial situation here because of the teeth. I don't mean to harp on that, but I'm also like underemployed. I'm plenty busy and I'm working, but I'm not at the level where I need to be to pay for the teeth and pay for my credit cards and pay for rent and everything. It's a very odd situation. Uh, and I'm getting there. It's not like I'm not asking for a handout or anything, but you can become a founding member if you want to give me a good chunk of change up front, or you can send me a coffee. Anyways, enough of the begging. Um, Not talking about that. If you are seeing this video and you want to become a free subscriber, please, I'd like to get my list to 5K. Anyways, yeah, there's like reasons to not be on Substack because they don't have moderation tools that keep Nazis and jerks off of Substack. So that's like a good thing as far as like free speech is concerned, I guess. But do I want my post next to a Nazi's post on Substack? No, I don't. Hopefully, what we can do by creating a community and creating Substacks and following each other's Substacks, subscribing to the Substack, looking at in the app, I'm on iOS app, following people when they follow you, subscribe, look at people's notes. I think it's really good discovery in there. And I don't know, maybe since Casey has left, the Nazi policy has changed. But I will say this. I like to consider myself a little guy as far as in the fight for media and free speech and all that good stuff. Small d democratic, big D democratic, however you want to say it. The people that I know and respect are doing a lot of cool stuff with Substack right now. So, as much as I can make a moral or otherwise decision that's not related to just migrating over to another uh, blogging platform. Stacy always calls it my live journal. Anyways, to go over to another platform, I don't know if it's necessary because I also think that there's great creators on here and great people that I respect in media that I follow. Midas Touch crushing it. My previous post here about Ken Casey and Dropkick Murphy, I was very proud to help as an assistant, help my tour manager find a place where Ken could record his uh, Midas Touch interview the other day. And that's like the biggest podcast thing I've ever been around. Like, I'm not taking any sort of credit for it. I'm not saying I did anything, but I was in the room where a great interview was about to happen, and I kind of helped find it, and Midas Touch is absolutely crushing it. Rick Wilson is crushing it. Who's also a very nice guy that I got to meet and highly recommend his Substack. But Mary Trump Media, they've launched their Lincoln Square Media, which is Resolute Square and Lincoln Project coming together. And the Bulwark. The Bulwark is great too. And I'm not really left, center, right, center, anything. Um, Lincoln Project and the Bulwark are former Republicans. And I identify with those former Republicans in a way because I grew up in a household that had a Republican voter and mostly a Democratic voter, I think. Um, and I come from a small white suburb, and I understand a lot of um, classic Republican right wing um, upbringing. I understand that because I've seen it, listened to it, lived it a lot of my life. I've also been a punk rocker for over 30 years, so um, I have certain views about things, and a lot of those views are like anarchistic, at least. Um, but I do believe in the power of democracy, the power of the pen, the power of the bully pulpit, and I do believe in the power of even just having a platform like this where maybe I don't know if I can. Maybe I can take this and put this on my YouTube channel. Maybe I can release this as a podcast. But just kind of a thought experiment here. Checking out the Substack Live, seeing that I like it. I already do sort of like it. Um, it's easy to just open the app and have some things to say, some things that are on my mind. What you can maybe expect is some movie, TV reviews of stuff that we're not covering on leakpodcast.com. Maybe what you can expect is most likely some political content, which is, I think, this is politics with Claynferno. The first episode of which was unreleased, lost to the tape, lost forever. I even made cool graphics and everything. Um, this is back when our friend Nancy Mace was just coming out to be a real fucking piece of shit. And people were calling her out on TV. Now she's become even more of a piece of shit. And I don't want to give Nancy Mace any attention. But I would like to give my Substack viewers, my Substack audience, more content. So Substack Live, I think, is a pretty good place to do it. And I feel like as much as I'm a little speck in the media landscape, I think this is great with like 3,000 Substack followers. I feel like doing something, having a voice, having a place to broadcast to, having my own little TV show here. On I think this is great with Claynferno, my Substack, which I have some great posts on. I mean, no other place can I write fiction, nonfiction, stories of my life. I like to think of my storytelling style a little bit like, and again, not comparing myself to, but like uh, I get inspiration from like a David Sedaris. Like this is some really funny stuff that happened to me. So I have a couple recent posts about that. I have a post about art and photography, which I will complete. I ask the metaphysical, metaphorical question, is photography art? I'm about halfway through my thoughts on it, and I had to stop at part one because it was getting meaty, and I don't have an answer to that question. So you're going to have to wait for part two, perhaps even part three, because it is very much an exploration of myself, looking at my art school days, what I do now for work, what I do now creatively, and how could I basically, I'm saying like I used to not think photography was art because of the way that it just captured what was happening. But a lot of things that I do that I consider my art, podcasting, this, um, broadcasting, producing shows, those things are art to me. So how could I tell someone who's taking pretty pictures that it wasn't art? Doesn't make any sense, really. making videos, making video edits. I'm saying, look at my art, look at the cool graphic design I did for this thumbnail. Look at this, social media post, whatever it is. So how do I have the right to say that a medium or media is not art when I consider what I do even for work as art? Kind of exploring that. I don't know where it's going to go. Maybe I will say photography is an art, but it's a different kind of thing. I don't know. But that was like a hardcore thought that I had when I was a lot younger and was snobby about visual art. Um, I'm very open-minded about art creativity these days, so maybe you can see where it's going. Although I don't know, because I use Substack as a way to think through things. And I can even think through political ideas. And when I watch people from the Lincoln Project and the Bulwark that were people that literally worked on Republican campaigns, that I probably hated those people 20 years ago. Just using their voices, Midas Touch, much respect, knocking out the Joe Rogan at the top thing. Really cool to be around Kenny and watch. And the impressive thing I thought about the Midas Touch interview with Ken Casey, besides all the things that I agreed with that Ben and Ken talked about, was that that shit was up like that. My friend Rachel and I, we're sort of in charge of the guest list. Don't ask me for any favors. I have no pull there, but we have to take tickets and put them in envelopes. And I said, because they were going to use the room that I was in, but then I said, I think there's another room around here. And then it was found. The room was found. Again, I'm taking credit for finding the room, but I did help. I pointed some fingers. But yeah. So, anyways, uh, we were stuffing envelopes and credentials and looking at lists of names. Just after, of 20 feet away in another room, Ken and Ben did this amazing interview. I don't know if it went out live on YouTube, but it certainly was up within an hour. And that job of stuffing envelopes certainly takes more than an hour. And I think that episode may have been half hour, 45 minutes. I'm not really sure how long it was. I'd have to go check, but it was up and edited, and I'm sure they have a great team. But I know I'm positive they have a great team. It was up, edited, framed out. Maybe it was they did the mixing live for inserts and things like that. Because Ben's always like, go to the clip, which is impressive. It's just impressive that uh, there are people out there that skilled to be able to do a big, huge interview and get it up right away. If we've had guests on our podcast and we don't do it live at all, but it takes a little while to edit that, especially do a video podcast or audio podcast. Still, too, there's like we don't want it to be perfect. We cut out ums and ahs, and I'll probably do that with this if I'm able to extract the audio from it. Anyways, I was super impressed by just being around the vibes and the energy from Midas Touch interview for Ken. And, she really said something that I'm going to piggyback on is that, like, if we're like on the left or we're not MAGA, like, there's MAGA people, and then there's people that aren't MAGA. And what Ken was saying, to paraphrase, not to quote him exactly, was that like, there's like this perception of the people on the left or people that voted for Harris or people that are frustrated that the Democrats didn't win this presidential election. They're like soy latte drinkers and whatever. But Ken said it best, and I've known the guy for years, and I have a ton of respect for him. And I don't even think I really aligned with him or really not aligned with him, but like really understood the Dropkick Murphys working class um, ideology until he explained it exactly like he did on the Midas Touch interview, which was that like we're talking about unions, we're talking about the working class. Like my grandfather, one of my grandfathers worked for the telephone company. And you're gonna talk. I don't even know if they had a union or not, but my family are largely in like the tree business, like grueling manual labor work, make sure everybody's happy, make sure you make enough money. It's hard work, bust your ass. Middle class shit. Middle class shit. And that's where we come from. We all come from that. I say that from the group of punk rockers that used to go see Dropkick Murphys 30 years ago and that are probably still seeing them today. And yeah, now there's a little something special that I can pull from some lyrics and stuff after the Midas Touch interview because I like listening to the band, though I work for them. I like the band, and I'm just kind of thinking about it like a little bit differently. I'm like kind of embracing some things that kind of they were always there, but they might have slipped by me a little bit. I do. There's like a perception I think of maybe people close to me that I don't have respect for cops or military. It's actually the opposite. I'm very respectful to cops. I don't like when cops behave badly. I'm very respectful to anybody in the service, military, etc. I was so excited to meet a couple of people that were retired Space Force. They were the coolest couple that I've ever met. Like they were so cool. I had so many questions. I couldn't stop talking with them about space. Um, we could all be part of the working class, veterans, service workers. Um, we can't allow our voice to be suppressed in this key time. We need to band together, and it's not even really an issue of right or left, red and blue anymore. I feel like it's really closer to the my favorite band, the Swingin' Utters. They have an album or a t-shirt, juvenile product of the working class. You know, that's me. I'm a juvenile product of the working class, and uh, and their lyrics they came around the same time as Dropkick Murphys, and they still play. And I identify with them a lot. And I'm sorry, I talk a lot about punk rock and like what punk rock means to me a little bit, and but like really what appealed to me about the music and the lyrics was those kinds of things. And I was a singer in my band, and we were like a punk rock and roll band. So lyrics are all really important to me because I was the one writing them and singing them, and I had a song Wild Zero, and one of the things is like my lyrics. I don't buy indoctrination. I don't bow to a nation. Same thing Kenny's saying from the stage. We don't have kings in this country. We can be proud Americans, punk rockers. We can fight against billionaires. We can band together, join our voices on places like Substack, other places, retweet things, blue sky things. I'm not on Twitter anymore, so don't find me there. Um, Add to the conversation, help other people grow their audience, and we can't all be Midas Touch, but we can all let our voice be heard. We can all share each other's work, share each other's art, share each other's photography, share each other's comics, and be supportive of one another. Because there's two things in the world. There's people that have, and there's people that have not. Tale as old as time. And working class is the have-nots right now. And I believe in Bernie Sanders. I believe in what he's saying, that we need to fight against oligarchy in this country. And how can I do that? One thing that I could do is I could turn on Substack Live and talk to some friends, release a podcast episode, keep fighting, keep doing something, peacefully resist, good trouble type stuff. So I think that's going to end my video, my first Substack Live. Thank you for joining. A couple of viewers here that I can see. But maybe you're not viewing. I don't know. Maybe my dad's watching. And if my dad's watching, I think he understands that I I don't really care like who people in my family voted for. I would just be happy if they vote, and we're going to disagree. And I think we can disagree respectfully. My dad and I joke around about politics a lot, so keep that on the down low. We can disagree, and we can band together as juvenile products of the working class and respect one another. On Substack, my recommendations for today: Rick Wilson, The Bulwark, Midas Touch, and obviously I want you all to go out and buy and stream Dropkick Murphys, because all the guys are great in the band. There's females on the crew I mentioned. Support each other, and I'll see you at the show. All right, bye bye.